I got a new dream. I need some Benjamins. It's all in a routine.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to Nicky Ride All Access. Today we have a special guest. I'm a fan of his wrestling. I'm sure a lot of you guys are. This guy's the Savage, the Beast of the East. It's Richie Lewis, man. Good to have you here, buddy. If you guys are a fan of wrestling at all, you're probably seeing this guy on the mats. Yeah, so what's going on, bro? How you been?
I'm hanging in there. So first things first, I know you got a name for the podcast, but I thought this one would fit. Richie Lou and the Nicky Rod pod today.
Ooh, nice, there you go.
Nice.
There you go. I dig it, bro. People like that for sure. So, bro, I have to ask you, man, because I've wrestled, college, high school, whatever, but I've never been at that level of All American and NCAA's become a world champ. Like what kind of experience, what kind of dedication goes into the accolades that you have? Like specifically, because you've won NJ state titles, right?
Dude, so I lost to my teammate Astronaut, who was ranked number 1 in the country at the time, and yeah, that was he's the only person to take me down my senior year. It was a tough bout, and it was either wrestle him or wrestle my cousin BJ. So I was like, who I was living with at the time, so I was like, I'm just stay at 38 and try and take something from him. And it was honestly one of the best experiences of my life, even though I lost, because it taught me the lesson, taught me to accept the challenge and how to come back,
Yeah. That's how is it having a room like that, man? Like having Astronaut as a practice partner, that has to be extremely beneficial to anybody that's trying to wrestle, but to somebody with the mental stability that you have to kind of, because you're a very intelligent grappler. Like you take in information and your body recalls it so well. So I'm just curious, how beneficial was it to having a teammate like that on you?
So I think that was one of the most important parts of my development. Ever since I was a kid, I would go search for the best room, go search for the best coaches. I didn't really get like high level coaching until I was about a sophomore, and I went to Short Thing, and I went to Apex with all those guys, Damian Logan.
Yeah, that's like off-season wrestling is such a big part of especially high school, man. Like I feel like personally I didn't develop fully into a wrestler until I started wrestling year round. I was like, wow, I'm taking all these months off, and all these guys are still training while I'm wrestling. Essentially, like that's a big thing. Now, did you do a lot of competitions for Sure Thing?
So I did do a lot of competitions. It's funny though, because I was a freshman in high school and I thought Mawa was a national tournament. That's like the easiest tournament to win. There's Super 32s, there's Tulsa, there's Fargo. I had no idea these tournaments until I started going to Short Thing and Apex. And I know you're from South Jersey, so the wrestling there is a little bit harder to find the best guys. You got Raw 2 for 1. You got those guys, Jordan Burroughs, so it's like there's some stuff, but I would remember I'd have to drive, 20 minutes to Short Thing, and then I'd have to drive an hour to Apex, and then I'd have to drive 45 minutes to Triumph just to find the best room every night,
Yeah, it definitely takes dedication, man. So I was a Seagulls kid personally, but we had our big guy at the time was like Miles Martin,
Jack
came out of
Clark.
there. Yeah, yep.
I wrestled Jack. I remember I wrestled Jack my 8th grade year, and he teched me, and then I wrestled him my junior year in college, and I beat him up.
Yeah, so that Jack Clark from McDonough, right?
Yep.
And they went to like St. Augustine or something like that. Yeah, so I remember he came in for 1 year, like from so McDonough's a prep school in Maryland, right?
Yep.
Yeah, McDonough's a prep school in Maryland, and they just kill wrestling. They're absolutely fantastic at it. So Jack Clark came back to wrestle with us, and literally just ran through everybody in districts, regions, and essentially states. Like it was like in region finals, he dominated some kid from Clearview that were like won regions the year previously and was completely undefeated that year. It was just like, it just shows you how there's definitely a different level. You know what I mean? Like there's a big jump in technique there, man. It's nuts.
For sure, man. It's everything in life. One of my favorite quotes is there's levels to the shit, and like no matter what you do, man, there's always fucking levels, dog. Like you think you're at one class and then you see the next, and it's like the difference between high school to college, Division 3 to Division 2 to Division 1 to senior level to a real world class level, and just seeing that has opened my eyes, and the spectrum of the sport has just changed for me.
Yeah, how did Rutgers treat you, man? That's a beautiful facility, beautiful campus. Actually, you weren't there training when they had the new gym, right? Because that's most recent.
Yeah, so I won my world championships in 2017, and then I was out that same year, and I signed to Lehigh. So I didn't get to see the new facility, but I kind of liked it in the basement in the dungeon, man. We had quite the room there, and I feel like it was very gritty. So That's where I come from. And it's funny because I was born in New Brunswick. If the school is right here, 500 feet down the road is where I lived, and across the street was the hospital I was born at.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's home ground right there, home turf.
I loved it.
Yeah. How's Lehigh, man? That's a little bit ways away. That's a little bit out there in the country, honestly. Not so much city, is it?
No, it was about like an hour away. So I had a house there with Darren Cruz, and then I had an apartment back home in New Brunswick. But Jeff Buxton was the coach. He was the head coach at Blair for like 30 years, and he would coach me a little bit as a kid, and I always wanted to get coached by him. So I figured, why not? You know, I'm going to do 1 year on the senior level to maybe 2 years before I transition to MMA. So why not get coached by one of the guys that I wanted to be mentored by my entire life, you know?
Yeah, that makes a tremendous difference, man. I mean, like personally, I'm from South Jersey, so I had to drive 2.5, 3 hours a day just to come up here and train with these guys, the squad, and specifically get coached by John Danaher. You know, so having a world class coach, the access to a world class coach, dude, can really change the trajectory of your career. Now, like when did you decide to become a fighter? 'Cause that's a completely different world to go from a mat where it's you're fighting out there, you know, not so much throwing punches, but it's a grind, it's a hustle, to saying, you know, I think I can put these guys away. You know what I mean? When was that transition made?
Man, I always knew. So as a kid, I used to run the streets, fighting, and just like doing dumb stuff. And then I moved down to Tom's River with my aunt because I got into trouble. I told you.
Did you fight in the boardwalk? Jersey, that's a fucking very common thing, bro.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
That's where we throw down. If you're a Jersey boy, your chances are you were scrapping out on the beach, man.
Yeah, the beach or the park. That's what we used to do when we got off the school bus. And then, so I got in some trouble in 8th grade, and then my parents were like, we're going to move you down with your aunt to Tom's River. Moved to my aunt, and then the first month of school, Frankie Edgar fought for the belt against BJ Penn for the first time, and it was in the auditorium. And I used to always like fighting because I used to watch Chuck Liddell with my pops, Jake Shields, who's one of our training partners. And after I seen Frankie win the belt, I just looked at my parents and I was like, man, this is what I want to do in my life. I know I'm a wrestler and I know I'm pretty good at it, but I feel like this is my passion. And ever since Frankie won that belt for the first time, I knew. 13, I'm 26 now, just turned 26 last week, so I had 13 years of knowing that this is what I want to do. And it's actually been extremely hard to keep wrestling. It's just because I was good, I kept wrestling. I didn't even want to go to college and wrestle.
Oh wow.
But my mom was like, hey, you got to go to college. My dad wanted a Division I wrestler, and it ended up being the best thing for my career because I won a U23 World Championships, and I developed under Donnie Pritzloff and Luke Moffitt, and I had a bunch of great opportunities, as well as amazing media exposure, and as well as wrestling in my home state.
Yeah, that's great, man. I know, like, for me personally, what wrestling in college did for me was make me a little bit meaner and tougher. It really showed me what I'm about because, honestly, like, you can wrestle a ton, but those extra workouts that they do, the stadium runs, the carrying your partner on the back up a mountain, that shit changes
at
who
6
you are
in the morning.
Exactly. That shit changes who you are as a person, truly. So, like, and it changes kind of how you see other people, you know, because you're like, have you... like you're ambitious, but have you done what I've done to get here? You know what I mean? Like it sets you on a different level, a different path.
So to speak on that, I've always used to think hard work, right? Now I think more on like an intellect level and emotional intelligence level, and how you can operate at the highest level. Because once you're at like this world-class level, the hard work is the easy part. You know, everybody works hard. Everyone has a specialty. They're quick. They're strong. Right, they have a certain move. It's all about how intelligent you are, you know, and the hard work is just a byproduct of getting to that level. Yeah,
you always see, like, really in any sport, the athlete that is cool, calm, and collected usually kills it way better than the guy that's amped up and really just dumping his energy on emotion or unnecessary movements. In wrestling especially, you can see. I remember when David Taylor went against Kyle Dake, right, in the NCAA finals, and Dake comes out cool, calm, and collected, and David Taylor, usually the same, but for this match was like super amped up. He scores like in the first like 10 seconds, and like you can see him like his whole body's tense. You know what I mean? Drops a ton of fucking adrenaline, and he ends up losing the match that could have been won. And he said he lost because he got tired, and this motherfucker never gets tired. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think it's funny that you said that because when you first asked me to do the podcast, and when I was driving here, I was thinking, I was like, man, I know I'm going to talk about like using the brain and being intelligent in order to get to where you want to be. And I'm like, you see Nicky Rod and you're like, oh, this dude's just a fucking meathead, you know? He's a strong dude. He's always lifting. And I'm like, I wonder what he's going to think about what I say. And I've actually noticed in the past 2 years, just training together with you, how sporadic you were and how spaz you were to now how you definitely use your brain a lot more and how you conserve the energy. You're not as tense and all that stuff. So kudos to you.
Oh, I appreciate that, bro. And honestly, it's so true because it's been a learning process for me. Like, you know, I can now have access to the best grapplers in the world, so I see how they move and how calm and fluid they move. And before, everything was like explode, all right, stop, explode, all right, stop. And with not really thinking, now I try my best to have a consistent pace and a consistent fluidity to my movements, all while thinking, you know, because I have to learn and interpret what my partner's going to do, and then what my next step is. And then I feel like if I had that same intellect with wrestling, I would have had tremendous benefits. Like I would have been so much better because, you know, all they taught me and all I knew was explode and keep exploding until you fucking get to their back or get them down, you know? So the ability to think and the maturity to stay calm in situations can really have benefits. Like when did you see yourself saying, okay, I'm working too hard. I need to work smarter and stop fucking wasting unnecessary energy?
I would say it came pretty late. Probably when I was like 20 or 21 is when I really started making that change. I learned how to play wrestle at a young age when I was like 17. So I guess it kind of started then. But I actually quit lifting when I turned like 22. I would still lift for maintenance, but I mean like really lifting hard. And then I was like, man, I'm just gonna focus my time and energy on wrestling. I remember wrestling Jordan Burroughs at Olympic Training Center maybe 2 years ago, and he's known to be one of the strongest, quickest. He probably is the strongest and quickest dude in the weight class, right? And he was like, "Oh man," he's like, "You're strong, Richie. Like you're like a brick wall." And I was at that point, I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, if this dude says I'm strong, I probably don't need to lift anymore. You know, I just gotta focus on getting better.
That's a good point. I personally for like lifting, definitely. I'm probably addicted to it. I'll be the first one to tell you. I fucking love lifting weights.
When the fucking blood pumps through your veins, yo, I love it too. That's the only reason I lift, bro.
Yo.
Before the beach, you get pumped up, and you feel good. You
What
go on a
else?
date,
What else in life can you spend 10 minutes doing, and after that you look fucking 2 inches bigger everywhere? You're like, fuck, bro, I look humongous. everywhere,
huh?
Dude,
I don't know what kind of nitric oxide you're taking, but I'll take some.
Whatever works, bro. Oh man, I fucking love it though. Honestly, I like the immediate effects and I love the long term effects. I've always been a fan of like The Rock.
You remind me of The Rock. That's why when I told you before the podcast started with the tequila, I was like, I know he's gonna love that I fucking drink tequila.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of all the big guys, and I just feel like it's a benefit of looking bigger and better than everybody. Like if you take a guy my size, my height,
you're gonna get paid more money.
Exactly. You're gonna be more popular. You're better to look at. And if you can talk on top of that, fucking, you know, it's gonna be, bro. Exactly. It's a win-win.
Yeah, so if you had to give up wrestling or like jiu-jitsu or lifting, bro, you can't do both. You can't grapple and lift anymore. What would you have to do?
Put me in a box. I'm done. I have to have it all, man.
He's killing people.
Yeah, I love too much what I do. Like if I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu, I'd miss it. If I wasn't lifting, I'd miss it. If I wasn't wrestling, I'd miss it. Like I have it so well that I can do it all. You know. So yeah, I don't want to live if I can't fucking do everything.
So that was actually one of the hardest parts for me, man. Like I said, I wanted to stop wrestling when I was 19 and start fighting. And giving up wrestling, you know, as some of you guys know, I hurt my neck, right?
Yeah.
And I had to take 9 months off of competing, 9 months off of training, and that was extremely hard for me. But
what specific injury did you have?
I had a herniated disc, and I messed up my brachial plexus nerves. That got pinched a little bit.
Now, was there a specific movement or sequence that it happened, like, or was it like a gradual, like keep slowly getting hurt and then eventually kind of?
It was definitely gradual. I think I pinched it 5 times before I got hurt like this.
Wow!
But I wrestled at the trials, the U23 trials.
Yeah.
And I had 6 matches in one day against 2 NCAA finalists, Tyler Berger, Levi Mays. I wrestled Anthony Colica. So I had a bunch of matches, and then a month later I had to wrestle at the U23s, and we had 5 matches in one day against, you know, the best guys in the world. Wow. And I remember after my quarterfinal match, I looked at my coach and I was like, man, I can't lift my arm really too high. My neck hurts really bad. And he looked at me. Teague Moore was like, if I told you 3 months ago you were going to be in the semifinals of the World Championships and your neck was going to be busted, what would you tell me? I was like, I'll tell you to fuck off, and I'm going to win it, you know? He's like, that's exactly what we're going to do. And as I'm walking off the mat, they say, Richie Lewis, report to mat 3. So I'm up right away, and they have a timer.
Oh, wow.
10 minutes.
Oh, no break? 10 minutes in between?
10 minutes in between.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, for you guys that don't wrestle, like, to use all of your fucking energy and then 10 minutes later do it again, bro, it's nuts. Against the best wrestlers in the world.
It actually worked out good for me, though, because the dude that I wrestled, I think he was from Kazakhstan, yeah? And he had really, really short, really small stature, jacked, probably the strongest dude I wrestled in the tournament, and he had all fast twitch muscles. So me coming off 10 minutes and him coming off 10 minutes, I thought it was going to be a disadvantage, but it ended up being an extreme advantage because I fucking melted that dude.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's fucking sick. Do you feel like at that point you were wrestling more intelligently?
Yeah, I think at the U23s, I was wrestling 154 pounds, and I had the same frame for the past 3 years, man. I mean, I might have put on a little bit more muscle, but I was the same size. I've been weighing
Like 60 kilos?
172. No, that's 70 kilos.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a combination of both, but I just really got after that tournament. I was bigger than everybody. I was quicker than everybody. I was stronger than everybody. So just fluidity, putting the moves together. It was a combination of both. And I was going to say that the spaz stuff, the knee-jerk reactions, while they're a disadvantage if you consistently do them, if you mix them in with your thought process to get you out of trouble, and it's going to use a lot of energy, but if you don't do it too much, it's not going to consume too much energy, and you're going to be able to get out of positions or get into positions that a lot of other people aren't. So it was definitely a combination of both.
Yeah, that's it.
You won a gold medal, man, with a fucked up neck.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then wrestled the whole college season with it. Because I was at Rutgers and I was on scholarship and I was like one of the leaders of the team. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to rip this cortisone and
You gotta do what you gotta do.
and wrestle the rest of the season. And I went up a weight class. So the next week I wrestled 165 against Alex Marinelli.
Oh, man.
Who was one of the best in the country, you know. I think he took third, fourth at the NCAAs.
Now, what was from your neck, right? What is it from? Because I know a lot of guys get like when they're doing like duck unders or they're passing by.
No, it was just doubles, bro.
Just doubles, yeah.
I used to fucking smack dudes and run through them.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a bull neck, but I guess it wasn't that bull.
Yeah, that's very popular, man, and it feels good. I feel like it looks the best on camera when you just fucking face up right in the gut, running through somebody, man. It's it's a great feeling. Yeah,
especially when I was wrestling those dudes that were like not smaller than me, but I definitely had the size advantage. So it was a lot easier to get to my scores and get to those specific positions where I could just run through guys.
How was your weight cut?
Sucked, man. So I do nutrition and stuff. So I mean, I handled it pretty well, but I did a 20 pound weight cut in 36 hours.
Yeah, and you were small at that. Like, you're not a huge guy to cut 20 pounds in fucking. That's crazy.
There's certain ways to do it with science. You know, we talked about science before.
Yeah.
You know, you would
get some liposuction right before.
Yeah, no, but it hurt, man. I almost I thought I was gonna die when I got down to the last like 3 pounds, and then I remember being in and out of the sauna and with my sauna suit, and then I stepped out of the sauna for the last time, and this was right before weigh-ins. I look at Travell Delagnov, who's the coach of Ohio State, and he's a great guy. He's one of the smartest guys I know. I'm like, Coach, man, I don't know if I could do this. And he just lay down, man. And I was in the sauna suit, just rubbed me out 10 minutes. And I ended up losing from then to our bus ride, which was like a 2-hour drive, or 2 hours in between, 3 pounds. And I weighed in 2 pounds under, which was insane.
Oh, wow. That's nuts.
And by that night, I was back up to 172, 173.
What was your first cut? Like, what was your first time you were ever like, oh shit, like I actually have to fucking lose 5 pounds? Like, I remember in high school was like the first time I ever had to cut weight, and I was like clueless. I was like, how the fuck do I do this?
So in high school, man, you just think you weigh the food and you're like, oh, this bag,
Exactly.
this bag of Doritos weighs 2 ounces, so I'm gonna eat this and 8 ounces of water, you know. And then like as you grow up and as you get older, and more competitive, that stuff changes. And it's funny because if I was 2 pounds over before weigh-ins, I'd be like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? Till now I'm at Rutgers and I'm losing 3-4 pounds right before weigh-ins on an hour weigh-in competition.
Do you feel benefit to that? Like, honestly, I felt like sometimes when I, like, the day, if I like woke up on weight, I wouldn't wrestle as good as like if I was like a little bit over that morning and I had to run and then compete. Like, I don't know if it was just a mental thing.
No, it's not. So if you lose weight, the night before or the day before, 24 hours before, and then you go to sleep and stuff, your body actually releases an antidiuretic hormone, and it is way harder to pee, way harder to sweat because it releases sodium into your blood as well as other minerals, and it just anti-luteinizing, maybe. I don't know the name, but it just tells your body to stop releasing water. So if you cut weight too early, rather than running 3 miles to lose a pound, you're going to have to run 6 miles and your body's going to be way more run down. So losing it right before is actually the most healthy way, and it's actually the way to have the highest performance.
Yeah. How do you feel about your second win? Because like in jiu-jitsu, it's not really like, it's not talked about, but in wrestling, I feel it's really common for people to say like, all right, like I'm gonna get a sick workout like before my match, get my first win, and then second win, obviously go way harder.
Yeah, so the first win's like extremely important. What I did for my first win was my weight cut. So that was what I would do. I wouldn't eat much. I can't give out too much information, but if you want, check out fulldimensionnutrition.com and we give you some more information. But yeah, so I'd get my first win there, and I wouldn't eat much. We have some special shakes that I drink, and it goes into my body very easily, and I just rest before I wrestle, quick sweat, and go ahead.
Yeah, that's what's up. I was never a big nutrition guy, honestly, until I started lifting. I was just like doing what people told me, like, and my coaches didn't know much, you know what I mean? So I was eating like peanut jellies and shit like that. Now I'm more of a
steak and ice cream guy.
Yeah. Now I'm more of a steak and ice cream, more like a steak and smoothie, steak and fruit kind of guy.
Nice.
Yeah. I had to switch up. I had to get yoked, bro. I feel like that's for my body at least. Like I have to eat tons of meat. Like I literally, if I go a day without steak, red meat. Yeah,
me too. So I actually I was a 38 pounder graduating from high school, and then I wrestled
138.
Yeah,
bro, you a little bit bigger than 138 now.
Yeah, no, I had puberty pretty late, and then I went to college my freshman year, and all I ate was egg and steak. That's it, man. We was on a mission. We would go to Walmart, buy the cheapest chuck steak, and just fry it up, and we'd eat 2 pounds of steak a day, 4 eggs, some toast, and maybe some asparagus, and that was it. And I gained like 25 pounds my freshman year.
Bro, I think I kind of did the same because I went from cutting to like from like 185 to like 170 in high school, and then immediately stopped cutting and started lifting weights, and then started eating my body weight in protein every single day. So like literally 6 months I gained 50 pounds. I went from 170 cutting to 17 to 18.
Yeah, that's the only time you can really do
that.
I hit mine 18 to 19.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's weird, man, because some kids will develop and look like men when they're like 14, 15, 16, and then they're done though. Like they won't grow anymore, they won't get any more defined or develop. And then other kids, they won't develop till their early 20s or you know what I mean, 18, 19, and they continue to have progress. Like me personally, I'm a late bloomer, but I haven't stopped getting bigger at all. And for those of you that don't believe me or not, your boy's been natty whole life, dog. So you feel me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it's because kind of it's a give and take for those that like develop fast? They kind of have that phenomenal high school career, and then for those that develop late, might have better off in the Olympics per se.
For sure. I mean, you look at a guy like Mark. You look at a guy like Mark Gray, right? When we were kids, he was number 1 in the country, and then he's still a great wrestler, but he took round of 12 to an All-American. And he won BCDs 4 times. Then you look at a guy like Jordan Burroughs, who's won 1 state title, didn't win BCDs. I think he took 3rd, and then goes to college and wins a Hodge Trophy, and then becomes, presumably one of the best wrestlers America has ever produced.
Yeah, dude. I remember the first time meeting him. I was in University of Pennsylvania University, something like that. Anyway, the one that's in Philly.
Yeah, he gets coached by Brandon Slay. He's actually moving there in 2 years.
Oh wow, that's what's up. Yeah. So I popped in there for NJRTC practice, met him, and you can feel the fucking energy. Like there's a fucking warrior amongst us. Like it's the goats here. It's pretty crazy, man. Especially the success that guy has. I mean, Nebraska hasn't really had a wrestler like him ever. Like I know they had that James Green guy that was really tough.
Yeah, so Nebraska is like historically one of the best programs, for sure, under Mark Manning and Schneider. So they've always been good. That's actually where I wanted to go to college, just because of James Green and Jordan Burroughs and the coaching staff.
Yeah. Who you train with out in Lehigh?
I was roommates with Darren Cruz, and I was training with Mario Mason.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Jeff Buxton. But I mean, like once you get to this like level where you're wrestling on the senior level, you kind of just got to get what you need. Like we would do, I think, like 4 mandatory practices a a week. And then when it wasn't that, man, I would be calling whoever I can get my hands on that was high level. I'd go fly down different places and get the best training. And it was also great for my development for MMA because, I mean, as you know, right, you've seen me training a lot. I would be going to wrestling practice 3-4 days a week. And then every second that I wasn't at wrestling practice, I'd be in jiu-jitsu. So getting back into the MMA, I feel like people think I'm just going to fight MMA.
Yeah.
Right. I've never competed jiu-jitsu. I haven't competed wrestling in over a year. A lot of people don't know where I am. And I mean, you could probably attest to this. You've seen me roll, man. I'm going to be fucking killing dudes. I've been training with the Death Squad and Danaher for 3 years.
Yeah, you know? yeah. That's what's up, man. You're in the right place. You know the right people. You're fucking have the best coaches out there. It's good, man. Do you have a time in mind where you want to fight? Maybe 21, 22?
Man, I was ready to fight in September, and then Corona hit, and I'm not fighting unless the fans are there. I could sell out. I could sell out an arena. I could sell out.
That's where the real money is. You want are you thinking about maybe get like a commission for fucking fans to show up?
Yeah,
you know?
you could pay me $0 and pay me half the tickets, and I'll make more money than I'll make on my first UFC fight.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's true, man. I mean, fuck, I'd pay to see you fight. Just go out there and scrap.
Hell yeah, then we go hit Haven afterwards. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Sure,
a little shirt, little, you know, a little $150 package.
Yeah,
so
bro.
$400, you're living good.
Straight up. How's your summer been, man? You been getting out to the beach a little bit? I guess you got a good little tan on you.
I got tan. You know, I spent some time in Miami. I spent some time in California. So,
bro, how's Miami been? You have the best hookup.
Yeah, I'm pretty plugged up in Miami, man.
Yeah, the Ghost Shed's nice, man. You fucking nice cars, nice fucking everything over there, man.
Yeah, so I'm actually like even further than that. I mean, I got a lot of friends in Florida. I've been going to American Top Team since I was probably like 20 years old to train with Steve Mocco, who is, you know, a fucking legend and
warrior.
Growing up, I look up to that dude. So I would go out there when I was 20, train with Dustin Poirier, train with Mirzad Bektik, train with Will, train with all these dudes, train with Mocco. And then when I was at Lehigh, he was like, hey, can you come out and help Colby? Because this is when he was planning to fight Tyron. So just through that, I met a bunch of dudes down there. And then you get some Florida boys that came up to Blair, like Zach Sherman, like Singletary, right? So just the connections I had from down there and meeting more people, man, I just did a 350-person camp down there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Really?
So I know people all the way from Tampa, all the way down to the Everglades, all the way to Miami. So when I go down to Florida, I spend most of my time in Miami, but I travel out there a lot.
Yeah, that's what's up. I can't get enough of Miami, honestly, man. Good food, good people. Yo, so how's we're stuck right now. Yeah, I need something else to talk about.
He had a couple questions.
Yeah, I have a few questions, bro. Bro, so
let me pack this lip real quick.
Yeah. So I got two questions. And one, first off, but like, what got you into studying nutrition? Was it through college or like just on your own?
It was through my faults, man.
Yeah,
I just I've always been in psychology. I've always been in philosophy, and then I was like, man, why don't I learn some nutrition? I mean, the number one thing in my life more than anything is the performance of the human body, biomechanics, how the body works, how the brain works. I'm a big believer in being a warrior and a philosopher. So I want to know everything about the body in order to perform at its highest level. So I got into nutrition and I studied the body, you know, like the bones, the muscles, you know, and then the brain, the philosophy, the psychology of it has just been like nonstop, and it's not going to stop. You know, I just want to keep learning about the body, because one day when my career's all said and done, you know, I want to mentor and coach some more champions myself.
Dude, I definitely have a similar goal. I would love to maybe get a wrestling camp, jiu-jitsu camp, and teach and kind of spread the knowledge. And I want to see, you know, the younger generation do well. And I feel like it has to be awesome to know that you have the ability to develop like a world champ or state champs.
For sure. Fuck the world champions, dog.
Yeah.
Nicky Rock camp where everyone eats steak all day.
Just eating and training.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. I think that is actually when you are maybe 18, kind of like when you leave home, that's the most important part, is those 2 years from 18 to 20 or 18 to 21 is the hard work. Just work as hard as you can, eat as much steak as you can, eat as much eggs as you can, because that's how you're going to develop the most. And then once you kind of have your body set, then you refocus back into the technique and refocus back into developing in that area.
Yeah, I think with lifting, honestly, like I feel like I haven't plateaued. Like I've been lifting for 6 years. I'm 23, almost 24, and I'm very curious to see like when I'm gonna stop progressing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what my natural personal limit is. You know, maybe I hit 260 or
Do you want to bodybuild?
No, I don't want to compete bodybuilding, but I want to look like a bodybuilder, you know? So
Do you think if you got bigger though, it would affect your jiu-jitsu?
So I'm constantly like, this is my internal battle, right? I'm like, I want to get as big as possible, right? Without having negative effects of the breathing issue, because obviously it's going to take more oxygen, whatever. So like as I've slowly gained 10 pounds over the years, I see that like, yeah, it's harder to breathe, but at the same time, I'm getting acclimated. Like maybe it takes me a month or 2 months to get acclimated at, like right now I'm 245. It took me take me like 245 to get acclimated, but I still feel like I have the same endurance that I did at 225, that I did at 200 pounds, and at 197. That's why I wrestled in college. That's probably when I was in my best shape. And I feel like I can still go as long, if not longer.
So that's one of the reasons that I moved up to 65. Like I said, I wrestled 154. The next week I was wrestling 65. I knew that the Olympics weight class was 74 kilos, 163. So I'm like, man, I got to get up and get acclimated for a whole year so my body can adjust to the weight as far as oxygen levels, as far as, you know, handling that weight class and these guys' strengths. And I remember wrestling my first match. I was like, oh my God, not only was I tired, but I felt the weight of this dude. And normally I didn't wrestle anybody that was stronger than me under 160 pounds. I moved to 65 and it felt like everyone was just as strong as me. But then after, by the end of the year, man, it was like no one could really outlast me. And yeah, they weren't nearly as strong as when I first started wrestling. Then.
How long do you think it took your personal self to get acclimated at that weight?
I think it took about 2 to 3 months to be very competitive at the weight, and then I think it took about a year to be like, okay, now I'm stronger than these guys.
Yeah. I'd say yes. I kind of agree with that because like I'd say for me a month or so to get acclimated, but by the, like lung wise, like ability to breathe. But as far as like, because your muscles, it takes so much longer, so you'll get like fatigued faster. Like your initial strength will be tremendous, but like you'll get fatigued faster. So I want to say close to 6 months or a year for me, for like every 10 pounds that I gain to like fully get acclimated to say, all right, I can compete hard like this.
Do you compete at 99 kilos or 99 plus kilo?
99 plus.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, really all weights, like, cause like there's no, sometimes I do like absolute divisions. Like last week I was in Houston, did an absolute tournament and no weight classes. So like you kind of have to, like for me, if I'm 245, it's great for the heavyweights cause I'm always going to have more endurance, be faster than them. But like, if I'm going to compete against somebody that's 150 and I'm 245, it's like, fuck, this guy's going to work just as hard as me, you know? So it's a give and take. It's
Ethan and Damien.
Exactly.
I was just going to say for
Dude,
Ethan.
I have way more success against bigger guys than I do guys like Ethan and Damien. Like they're
crazy.
Dude, they can keep the pace. They can move so well. They go inverted. For us wrestlers, going inverted, if my leg's over my head, it's a fucking problem.
Yeah, it's like putting a fucking shirt over your head and wrestling, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I think the one thing that I've noticed in jiu-jitsu that I've been able to do once I really learned the moves was just negate those things where guys are good and not let them get to that position. As a wrestler, if we I guess I could speak for myself here because I know you've been training jiu-jitsu a little bit more than me, but I know that if a guy gets to your leg or my leg, you know, I'm a little nervous. Even though I kind of know what to do there, their specialty is that, just like our specialty is taking them down, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like you just gotta try and negate them from that position, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You want to stay in where your strengths are. Like for a wrestler, you know, our thing is get to the back, and once we get there, it's you know. Obviously, you need to know some jiu-jitsu to...
The control, though, with wrestling is so different. We have these big backs from constantly grabbing and pulling down. So we're pulling down on the head all day, and we're cinching our core. And now when we're on the back, it's the same thing. And they have way less weapons. They have no weapons to attack you with, let alone to defend with, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's in like where I have the most benefit is the scramble. Like I can usually come out on top in the scramble or on the back. You know what I mean? So but it's like the stop in motion in jiu-jitsu, which is very common. Like the stagnant motion, I'm like, fuck, now I have to slow it down. Now I have to think, what's this guy gonna do next? Yeah, you're kind of always at risk at the same time. Like guys can grab submissions from anywhere. I'm sure you know train with us.
So how do you? For sure, I came in. So Damien was. Oh,
that's all good, buddy.
My bad. Damien was in a fraternity with one of my best friends, and we went to college together at Rutgers.
Are you a frat boy yourself?
Kind of. Not officially, but I was like. Pardon.
Did you do rush? You pledged?
No, I didn't do that. But all my friends were. I'm from Jersey, and all my friends were. So I was kind of in there. And but anyway, Damien's like, oh, I do jiu-jitsu, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah. I'll come into Henzo's and scrap with you guys, like thinking it's not a real sport.
Right? So Henzo's was your first introduction to jiu-jitsu?
I went with Dante Rivera for a little bit, but it's a lot different when you're Henzo's, And
elite, bro.
I was talking to Damien, I was like, yeah, I'll show you guys like what's good. And I go in there, and John's like, all right, we're starting in mount. I'm like, what? I get tapped out 10 times by Damien and Ethan. I'm like, you motherfuckers, let's start on the feet, bro. Let's start on the feet. But it was just like completely eye-opening, and I think that's when I fell in love with it. When I got humbled and had respect for the sport, and then also seeing how those guys train and how Donaher leads that team, it just was like, man, I always want to be, like I said, I always want to be with the best guys in the world, and I was like, I'm fucking here,
Yeah, for sure. Definitely with the best guys in the world. That room's no joke, man. I mean, I literally had the same experience. Like my first day, they were like, all right, start on bottom, and then eventually I ended up going with, like, my first scrap was with Gordon, and I was like, this is fucking terrible. I have to come back here constantly and get this ass whooping. How was your first roll with the fucking no-gi goat?
It was good, man. I mean, he definitely. Anytime we got into jiu-jitsu position, he would beat me, and then just to benefit.
You always feel like he's not trying sometimes. Like this motherfucker's not using any effort, and I'm so tired.
Yeah. So that's once you get into the jiu-jitsu with him, I mean, obviously it's very hard. So I think one of the positives of having me there and having him there is that when I need to get better, he's going to do jiu-jitsu with me. When he needs to get better, we're just going to wrestle on our feet and wrestle from underhook positions on the ground, the bulldog positions and stuff. So that's been extremely beneficial. And I like how it's not just like, hey, you're going to come in here and get submitted. You're going to come in here. These guys are going to let me put them in arm bars. Let me kind of take their back a little bit and then fight from there. So I could understand the positions, so I could learn the positions. Just as when I fight them, I'm gonna let them get to a leg so they can feel it, and then show them where they went wrong, and they're gonna show me where I went wrong. And also the learning that we do is a lot different. So like I said, we're gonna start in mount, we're gonna start in the back. So we're gonna start in these submission positions. When I first got to Henzo's and Gordon and pretty much everyone would be like, oh, Richie, he's like, yeah, you're good job coming here because everybody else sucks. I'm like, oh, so like, wait, what's going on?
That's exactly how he'll talk to you too.
I thought he was just joking. You know what I'm saying? And then I start to really understand jiu-jitsu after a year and watch it. I'm like, holy shit, everybody else actually does fucking suck. And I'm like, and we're gonna get good like this quick,
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
I teach a lot of MMA fighters, and I teach a lot of wrestling for jiu-jitsu. And you'll be surprised. I'm showing mechanics of a rear naked choke and how to choke people out. And I'm like, yeah, you're teaching this class, or you're one of the head instructors here, and you don't know the body mechanics of how to break an arm or how to finish a rear naked without squeezing your bicep and your forearm.
It's nuts.
It's honestly insane to me.
Very common, man. And I've actually had I know a lot of people that have kind of been taught by you. You're pretty known in Jersey, bro. Like people follow you, people pay a lot of attention to you. It's good. It's good that you back the state like that, man. That's what's up. Yeah, training at Henzo's is tough, man, but it's fucking. Yeah, I don't know. It's something about the grind. Something I get fucking choked out every day. That's like, I'm sure you know how it is. That you gotta love what you do to fucking be as good at it.
I mean, you notice yourself getting better every day. So I'm a big planner. So I plan really everything out. So when I was 22, I'm thinking, I know I'm not gonna fight until after the Olympics, till I'm 26, right? So I'm like, okay. So what can I do in the meantime to get as good as I can for the latter and most important part of my career? I'm going to go to Renzo Gracie, learn under John Danaher, train with Nicky Rod, train with Gordon, train with Gary and these guys, and just learn as much as I can for 2 to 3 years. Now, when I fight dudes, my top control and getting out from bottom in combination with strikes is honestly world-class mixed with my wrestling. And it's just been crazy how much better I've gotten from training there.
Yeah, we can pretty much give you the ability to, like, you know, keep people down. Like, that's a big thing that I had to learn. Like, I was pretty good at taking people down, but like then these guys are just getting right back up, and I just all the energy that I use, you know, getting the guy to the mat, it's like it's pretty much wasted because he popped right back up, no problem. So like, you know, for me, learning to keep somebody down just changed my career so much. Like, I was a pretty good like rider in you know, on top and stuff, but now these guys roll, they're comfortable with pulling guard, being on their back, and it's like fuck, now they can just go to the back, kick me off, roll out of it. It's a different world, man. How you have you been training like cage work a lot? Because that's so different from just being open.
So before we start that, the one thing that I'm very, man, like I watch everything in combat sports. My IQ with combat sports is probably the favorite thing about me. And the one thing that I've noticed with you that has changed has been the creation, the identification, and then the execution of an angle. So I know you mentioned how you could get guys and you weren't able to hold them. I think that's one of the most important and overlooked parts of combat sports is creating an angle, whether it's through a scramble, whether it's through a technique, a pass by, whatever it may be, identifying it very quickly, and then executing on that angle. And being a strong guy, being a quick guy, a lot of people just say, oh, he's so athletic. Like, if you look at Burroughs, if you look at you, if you look at me, guys just say, oh, he's so athletic, he's doing this, he's doing that. In reality, man, it's the creation, identification, and the execution of it, whether you think about it or not, you know? And I think that's why guys like us get labeled as you know, strong, quick guys. But really, it's just
we just think faster, that's all.
Correct. Animal instinct, man.
Exactly.
When you watch an animal hunt, you know, if you watch a lion hunt, it's going to go for the neck. If you watch a jaguar hunt, it's going to go for the neck. And they're going to find creative ways to get there. They're not just going to attack straight on. And watching you from 3 years ago, wrestling, to now doing jiu-jitsu from the beginning of your career to now, that's been the main change that I've seen.
Oh yeah, huge difference. I've actually seen on Instagram, I've seen a lioness pull guard. Actually, it's pretty fucking
damn
dope. So the buffalo's coming up to the lion, right? And they're like fighting. The lion just lays on his back. Buffalo goes down and fucking inverts and bites him. Yeah, that's
I've seen the same video.
Yeah, that's some high level shit.
So speaking of cage work, yeah, man, I think that's like my best. That's what I'm best at. Just from wrestling, I wrestle a lot in underhooks. I wrestle a lot of lifts. I wrestle a lot of throw-bys. So playing with those angles there has been probably my best thing. And I teach there a lot in my seminars. So just reiterating it. You know, the main thing that I do when I train with Gary Tonin in the Blue Basement is wall work. You know, and he's one of the best guys in the world, and I'm lucky to train with him. And I just train with him there all day because that's where they know I'm best at. So they're like, okay, let's get Gary the best there as well. And I've rolled with guys at AKA, all wrestlers my whole life, and ATT. And the cage work for me has been the easiest part. You know, I could isolate one part of your body, hit you, open up another angle, like I was saying, the creation, the identification, and then execute on it. That is all I do. And that's the only thing you do on the cage. So it's probably my best feat in MMA.
Yeah, so you feel like you're your strongest if you got your opponent back against the cage. That's pretty much your home there, huh? Yeah,
for sure, man. I learned a lot of stuff from Habib there too. So
yeah, I like my only time I was on the cage, right? I had a tag team match with me and Craig Jones versus Vinny Magalesh and Kyle Bohm.
Both of them, bro.
Yeah, Kyle Bohm.
That was bullshit, right?
That was bullshit, yeah.
That was at Submission Underground?
SUG, they throw out a dope event, right?
I fucking love Chael, but man, that event always has something
bro. The refs or some shit, bro.
They have some issues.
So, Chael, if you're listening to this, stop fucking Submission Underground. I love you, though.
Change the ref. Change the ref, man. Yeah, he's had some issues over there. But amongst that, like, also the matches are very short. So, like, it's not like wrestling. Like, wrestling, you can get a lot done in 5 minutes. Jiu-Jitsu, 5 minutes, fucking doesn't take shit.
And what are the overtime rules?
Overtime rules, you start on the back. So
EBI?
Yeah, EBI, yeah. And it's like 2 or 3 minutes each in 3 rounds, yeah. So, like, it's tough, but
it's like an overtime fight.
Exactly. So the only time I was against the cage was in that, and like I pushed Vinny Magalesh to the cage, and like the second I got there, I like instinctually like let him up. Like I like backed away like to go back to the center, and like 2 seconds later I was like, what the fuck? I should just stood there, because I probably definitely could have gone down to the ground, but like I just don't train there, so I would just
I'll show you some stuff after this, man.
Oh, for sure.
I know with you and your forearms, you could break people's floater ribs right there. That's actually one of the things I do to exploit angles, is when I'm wrapped around that body, you know, there's certain mechanics that you can use to pull into and back into your hip, and it exposes your rib so much to where if they don't let up the pressure to get taken down, you know, you're just gonna fucking rip them and take that floater rib with you.
Yeah, hook me up, bro. I'm a newbie when it comes to wall work, for sure. I like, because I'm sure I'm gonna be back on SUG in a short time's notice. I'm dying to compete. So you know, if I could use that to my advantage, fucking why not? If I could just get somebody to the cage, hold them there, and then put them away, that's in the plan for me.
Yeah, and if you learn how to execute on a wall, you're going to learn those same takedowns not on a wall. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit less effective and might open up to leg attacks or snap downs rather than straight lifts or powering through guys. But it transfers to the center of the mat as well, just a little bit different on the finishes.
Bro, what's a floater rib?
It's if you look at the side of your body,
okay,
and if you go to your lowest rib on the backside.
I broke that shit, bro. Backside?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you feel like a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right there. You feel the bottom one. It kind of has like an edge to it. That's called your floater rib, and it's called the floater rib because it's literally floating out there by itself. So it's the easiest one to break.
Oh, I broke my front ribs while wrestling.
Yeah. How?
Snap my shit. I got stuck in a half. And the next thing you know, bro, I twisted the wrong way, bro. It was bad, dude.
That sounds like a tear in the muscles there.
Okay.
Or
because I got the fucking, it still sticks out, man. I got a big ass lump in my chest.
So what happens is after that happens to your ribs, it calluses.
Oh, okay.
So now it's even harder, and it's going to be way harder to break.
It's stronger.
All right,
now.
Good, bro. That's good. All right.
Yeah, your body's mechanism of protecting it is to callus it.
Sweet. Yeah, I feel the same way about a lot of minor injuries. Like if some people that don't need surgery get surgery, it's kind of has a negative effect to them. Like for me, I've had a lot of shoulder issues, and I feel like if I had surgery, probably wouldn't be as good as I am today.
For sure, I've had surgery on my shoulder, on my labrum, and that's one of the hardest surgeries to come back.
That's exactly the tear that I have.
And I was so scared, man. You should do the PRP. I just got that done.
I would try that. I would try PRP over surgery any day of the week.
What's PRP?
Platelet-rich plasma. So basically, they take I think 8 vials of blood from your arm, and then they spin in a centrifuge. And when they spin in a centrifuge, it gets
separates.
It separates a serum. You know, a couple cc's of the serum, and then it has blood. But the blood is like deep, dark, rich red blood. So it's high in white blood cells, high in white blood cells, high in you know, I don't know if it's stem cells, but I know it has all those IGF-1 and like all those growth factors in it. So they inject it back into your injury, directly into it, and they kind of re-injure it very tiny bit, and then they inject it right in. And what that does is it creates the inflammation process, and it already has everything that you need in that area to naturally recover it. Correct. I had a torn MCL, partial tear, 10 weeks ago, and I got the PRP in addition to the prolotherapy, I would say 7 weeks ago. I've done no rehab. I moved on it, you know, I stretched a little bit, but and I did 21 miles yesterday on a bike. I have another one next week, and hopefully it completely recovers from there. But it's like liquid gold, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I've never tried anything like that besides rehab. Like, so I've literally had like the worst shoulders. Mind you, this is all minor tears. I've took both rotator cuffs, both ACs, both
You lift a lot, so when you lift on the bench press, it's
bench is my worst. I
wouldn't even do it anymore. It's on one plane.
I do the bar.
It's compressing your joints. If anything, I would do dumbbells, and overhead presses are gonna hurt it too. You know.
Yeah. So I've honestly heard all of this grappling, and the only thing to get better I've done is just rehab every day. Like I would go on for years. You know, I'd go on YouTube and type up exercises for rotator cuff, for labrum, AC, whatever, and every day I would do those, and then I'd start my lift, and I feel like I had tremendous benefits on me healing, because obviously it pumps new blood into there, but on top of that, I'm growing the muscles around it. So for me, because I'm terrified of surgery, and these aren't terrible injuries, just minor, you know what I mean? The ability to rehab it and kind of reproduce it has been really beneficial in the longevity of my career.
For sure. So I got surgery on my labrum and partial rotator cuff.
Were you young?
This is 8 months before I made the world team.
Oh wow!
My first competition back was the world team trials, and yeah, man, I was maybe 4 months into my rehab, and I was like, yo, I'm never gonna be able to fight. I'm never gonna be able to wrestle again. I could only lift my arm up to 90 degrees, and I was like, something has to be done here. And it's one of the hardest injuries to come back from. The range of motion isn't completely 100%. I have maybe 90% range of motion, 95% range of motion, but it was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life was the labrum surgery for sure.
Wow. Yeah, like in high school, so my first initial shoulder injury was I was my first time ever wrestling freestyle. I was at Jersey State for freestyle wrestling, and like
what year?
It must have been 2012.
I wrestled in it that year.
Did you? Yeah.
I won it that year. I wrestled a couple good guys.
You know Rory Bonner?
Of course.
I wrestled the same time he was
from
there.
South Jersey.
Yeah, he's Siegel's guy as well. So I was was wrestling there, and so I took a shot. Right, guy sprawled on me in my. What's up?
They see.
Was it on?
All's off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. We can't put it on it, bro. It's gonna.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah.
we'll be done. We'll be done soon. Yeah. It's loud as shit. But what was I saying?
Well, it's only right that we end this shirtless, right? I'm on the Nicky Rod pod. I mean,
do what you gotta do, bro. Take it off. Yeah, I take mine off. I'm fat right now, so.
Yo, Nick, you ever think you can hit 300 pounds, bro?
I don't think I wanna.
Yeah.
I mean,
what about 300 pounds?
If I could ever hit 300 pounds, but like big, because I'm 245. If I was living through these past 4 months in quarantine, I'd probably be close to 250, maybe 260. But 300 pounds, I feel like my bones would fucking collapse. Like that's so heavy, and to do that naturally has to be like nearly impossible.
Do you fluctuate a lot?
Nah. I'm like, so before quarantine, I was 245. I was just shredded. Like now I'm fucking fat and I'm 245. So my percentages will go up, but my goal is to constantly gain weight. So I'm always eating a lot. And that food will get better once I start lifting consistently, But yeah, right now I just don't give a fuck.
What's your cardio like? Just live training?
Yeah, just go hard in training. Yeah.
I couldn't see you going for a run, man.
You should.
No, it hurts my knees. I'm too big. I ran a ton in high school and college. You fucking have to if you're wrestling. But if I had to pick cardio, I just want to roll. Yeah, honestly, that's my best cardio.
Man, I'll tell you what, that is the best cardio, and that's my favorite, and that's what I do for.
It's fun.
80% of it, but man, when you get on a bike and you run, it just helps your body so much. The structure of it, yeah. I feel like.
Oh, and I do what I do so often. Like I grapple so often that I feel like I'm getting worse at other things. Like I probably can't ride a bike. Like my body's so acclimated to fucking snap down, shot, knee cut. Like
that's why I can't do anything else. Should do it.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, I mean, I did run and did a ton of stuff like that in college. So I was like, fucking, once I'm done this, I'm never doing this shit again, man.
For sure, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, so I remember like that freestyle tournament, right? I took a shot on the guy, he sprawled, blew my shoulder out, and it was just like a.
Did it pop out of socket?
I don't think it popped out. It just got super extended to where it was just really sore, and something internally I knew was wrong. So I got it looked at. They said it was the labrum that had a small tear, right? So I was like, all right, fuck, I'm not gonna do surgery. We'll just keep at it. And then what started happening? It started popping out of socket.
That's what happened to me
after the labrum. Yeah, but like it would pop out of socket like every day. Like every time I snap somebody, if they reacted the wrong way, my fucking shoulder would come out. Every time I shot, like I was like literally in practice, like once or twice in practice, guaranteed in a match. I was like, it was like the worst fucking thing.
That's the only reason I got surgery, man. I wanted to push through it because your shoulder will feel fine and then you'll wrestle. Like Nick Ravina, right?
Yeah.
He dealt his entire career, man. He should have been a multiple-time All-American, but his entire career, he snaps hard on your head, his shoulder might pop out of socket.
Yes. So literally have the same issue. And then I started favoring my right side, and boom, once I started shooting my right hand, motherfucking sprawls on me, and same thing. Labrum tear on the right arm, okay? So I literally have I have the same exact injuries on both arms. And I'm like, fuck, we gotta work through this. So
you're a beast, dude.
I appreciate that. So
this motherfucker doesn't say no, we gotta work through this. That's all he says. Look,
Hey, dislocated
he's
shoulder.
laughing all the time. He's like, we gotta work through this.
Gotta work through it, bro. so yeah, like they would just kept getting fucked up, and it was to the point like at first when it dislocate, my arm would go completely numb for like 5 minutes. I'm like, I fucking can't do anything. And then slowly, you know, I like later on in the day I'll get better, and then eventually it's like it would dislocate. In 30 seconds I'd be like, all right, fuck it, I'm at like 20%. Like let's go. You know what I mean?
Does it still hurt now?
Yeah, I mean, like it dislocated yesterday.
I'm gonna hook you up with my PRP, guys.
Bro, it dislocated yesterday?
Yeah, so it's not as common because I'm more muscular now. Like I promise you, I feel like the stronger I get, my like it might go to dislocate, and my shoulder muscles would be like, fuck that shit.
Your rotator cuff is attached to 4 muscles: supraspinatus, infraspinatus, I think something in the scap, and
I'll try PRP.
Those muscles will cinch up so it doesn't dislocate. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, PRP will change your life. And even if it doesn't change it to the point where it's completely healed, it'll change to the point where you're not gonna have to worry about it dislocating. The human body's amazing, man, and when you give it what it needs and you give it some time, some rest, recovery, or just train smart, it's gonna completely heal itself, especially at this age, and especially with everything that you're doing. You know, you're a strong individual. So
yeah, I feel like with Jiu Jitsu, so like I've been rolling for about 2 years now, and it seems like I'll have shoulder injuries every 6 months or so. So like first 6 months of grappling, no problem, and then after that, I pretty much had to do 6 months of rehab.
The wear and tear.
Exactly. So like, I'll go up and down. Like my right now, like maybe 4 weeks ago, fucking Gordon like popped my shoulder out in a submission. Right. I didn't say nothing to him, but it fucking happened.
A lot of times it doesn't happen during submission. A lot of times it happens during the knee jerk reactions when you're in scrambles, right?
Yeah, but this guy, he was trying to break my shoulder, and he pretty much did. So.
So what was it? Omoplata?
No, so we started. I think we started neutral, right? And somehow he fucking got on top of me. So he's mounted on top of me, and he ends up getting to my back and putting a figure 4 around like my armpits. So I swear to God, I'm fucking like this, right? And I'm like, all right, like I'm not that bad. So my shoulders are fucked up, but they're still pretty flexible. Like I'm good here. And then he starts like fucking like extending me. I'm like, oh, what the fuck's happening? And slowly my hands are going up. I'm like,
sounds like a porno.
I'm like, oh, bro, I think this is bad. And then it pops like, fuck tap. And then I give it like 30 seconds and I'm good. But yeah, so like now I'm conscious, like 4 or 5, 6 months rehab, and then I'll be good. And then I'm sure fucking, you know, a couple months later, the next one will go.
If I was you, I would just not days that you know you're gonna train hard. I would just not lift. Like that day.
No, so I lift every day at nighttime. So I train in the morning, lift at night.
Your muscles, like your chest and your shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, I do everything. So I mean, I do one body part a day, but I lift 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's good. I'm saying on the days that you're training hard, if you could figure that to be your leg day, or figure that to be like your ab day, rather than your
train every day hard though. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, I got one speed. No, I know what you mean though. Take it a little bit easier on the day. Like same thing, but
not even easier. But if you schedule it to your leg day is the day that you're gonna train hard.
Yeah, true. See, I have to do the same thing with food. Like days I'm training back or legs, I have to eat way more calories than I would if I'm just doing arms or something like that. So I get what you mean. You have to balance everything.
Timing. That's where the intelligence comes in. Is one of the most important parts of the sport. With food, with training.
How do you feel about days off? Are they real?
Yeah.
24/7, bro.
I mean, it kind of just depends. I mean, if you're prepping for a fight,
I think it's smart to have like a rest day or so during the week. Like
correct. Like it depends what phase you're in. So for me, man, there's no real days off. A day off is gonna be a 2-mile jog or a 20-mile bike ride,
do something,
or like just a 30-minute lift, or like just a sauna session, or hot tub, cold tub, or going into practice and just drilling or stretching. You know, there's no real days off. There's hard days, there's light days, and there's active recovery days.
Very true. Very true. So like for me, right? I'm kind of in this spot where I'm chasing, where my practice partners are my biggest rivals. Like they're the best in the world. I'm constantly trying to get better than them, right? And I feel like if I miss a day of practice, like I'm gonna miss a technique or I'm gonna miss something that's gonna give them the extra edge tomorrow, right? So like it's so hard for me mentally to say, all right, I fucking need to take a day off. Like it's not uncommon for me to go 30, 40, 50 days straight, like lifting and jiu-jitsu, no days off, you know? So
I mean, that's how you got so good so fast. That's very similar to what I was saying to the 18 to 20, 18 to 21. When you first step into a different realm, you got to fully submerge yourself into it.
That's a very good point, you know, because I think if I didn't do it so hardcore, like literally the way your body reacts, you have to change it. Like if you are wrestling a wrestler, he's going to react as a wrestler. And then you take a wrestler and you put him, even if it's a wrestling match against a jiu-jitsu guy, when a wrestler would stand up or cut out, this motherfucker's rolling. You're like, what the fuck is this? So it's very weird to see the different body styles. And like same thing what you were saying, like your bodies will actually develop differently. Like you can tell a jiu-jitsu guy versus a wrestler. This guy's a little bit softer, a little bit smaller, and then you have the wrestler, it's fucking all jacked up, huge back, thick thighs, and you can tell the guy's ready to explode, you know? So it's interesting how bodies develop differently under different standards.
And I think with the days off too, like it like I said, it depends where you're at, right? So like I am very comfortable with where I am in my career, and I know it's just the very beginning of it. So I'd rather take days off and protect the longevity and the security of my career than maybe learn a move and potentially set myself back 6 steps and walk forward 1, you know?
I completely agree with that. And I tell myself, I'm like, dude, like you need to fucking take a day off just to relax and maybe just fucking watch jiu-jitsu. Just think about it mentally instead of like doing all the time. And like, I feel like I'm fucking have the reverse effect, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna, like I really feel like I'm gonna miss something, or I'm just being fucking lazy if I don't do it, because like in my mind at the same time I'm like, it's not wrestling. Like I'm not going like, yeah, I'm going 100%, but I'm not going the hump like as hard as a wrestler would go, you know what I mean? So like the energy that you're expending is different, because you can't fucking wrestle 7 days a week for a month straight. You can you're definitely going to get hurt. Like your body needs to be in tip-top shape to recover, to take those. I mean, hand fighting alone, it's a fucking job, bro. Like people get hurt hand fighting, you know? It's a war out there.
I agree, and I got 2 things on that. The first thing would be that I take time off and I get better because I nonstop think about jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Very underrated.
And I nonstop watch film. So I'll give you an example. So one time I went in for a month, train with John and train with you guys, and got fucking 10 times better, right? And then I was like, you know what? I need to give my body a little break. This is when my neck was hurting. So I did, I think, 2 months and nothing on the mat, right? And then I come back to Henzo's. And I normally go to Henzo's in spurts where I'll come for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and take a month, 2 months, 3 months off. And I come back and John's like, holy shit, you got a lot better, Richie. Like, like, what have you been doing? I'm like, dude, like, not much for jiu-jitsu. Like, I really haven't been doing anything. I've been recovering from my injuries, but just the fact that I'm thinking about it every day, watching my teammates compete, and just like, if I get a roll, I'll get a small roll in with a local black belt, or B will come out and I'll roll with her. And I notice I'm getting 10 times better every time I take those breaks. So I'll learn something for 2-3 months, and then I'll take the break and I'll come back, and my body will just understand it better from thinking about it, from playing with it. I'll grab someone, hey, I'm thinking about this, let me try this, and I just learn it. And I'm the type of person where if I get shown something one time, I'll understand it for the rest of my life, and then every time I'm there, I get better at it. And the second thing that I was thinking was, you remind me a lot of Nick Suriano. So
also a fucking savage.
The biggest fucking savage, the smallest, biggest savage that I know.
I've had the blessing of being in the Rutgers room, obviously, a bunch of times now. So I get to watch this guy work, and literally, like in between our breaks, before and after practice and shit, this motherfucker's stance in motion, snapping, shooting, and it's like does not stop.
Nobody outworks Nick, and that's one of the things that I think that he has in his head is like, if I miss one push, if I miss one thing, that's what's gonna happen, and that's what's made him great. And I also think that's what made you great. And one thing that I noticed that made him great deter at Rutgers was the ability to have Donnie Pritzloff, who was one of his mentors, pull him back just a teeny tiny bit when he needed to be pulled back. Because that kid...
As in calm down? Or what do you mean pull back?
Pull back as far as training.
Okay. Oh, like not train as hard.
Not train as hard, but not do 3 times a day.
Oh, I get it.
You know what I mean? Because this dude will... If you tell, yo, Nick, like, this is a 4-hour workout... This dude is going the same pace for 4 hours. He's an animal.
It's hard to believe until you see it. Like you're like people like fucking exist that are like that. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. Like you think you work so hard, and you see this guy just like does twice the work, twice the speed for twice the amount of time. You're like, what the fuck is that?
His body, he's a little smaller. He's 130, 40 pounds. So his body could definitely handle a little bit. But I will say...
He looked like that when he was in high school, too. The motherfucker was been jacked.
Crazy. I knew Nick since he was probably like 12, 11. And the dude's always been like that, man. And for him to just keep building. Him coming to Rutgers, so Donnie Pritzloff coming to Rutgers, Astronaut being there, and then my redshirt senior year having the addition of... Nick was just insane because no one could really beat me in a foot race. I'm pretty quick. No one could really beat me in like the athletic stuff when we were going. And now I have Nick pushing me because I mean I'm longer than him. I'm taller than him, and I'm very, very naturally athletic. I thank God that I was gifted. So I really had no one to push me in there. I could wake up on 4 hours of sleep and dust dudes on the hill, dust dudes up the stadiums, and the fact that he was there right up my ass when we were running, and he got quicker just from me being there, and I got quicker just from him being there and being on my tail. I'm like, I can't let this dude beat me.
That's one thing that a lot of people don't get about wrestling, that like all the extra workouts, like when you're up at 5 a.m. and you're going on a 5-mile run, it's not a run, bro. It's a race. Like everybody on that team wants to come in first. There's no, you're not pacing yourself. You want to fucking get them back first.
And they're teammates, but man, you guys are when you're in the room together, that's your opposition, man. You gotta, of course, with respect, but you gotta. They're the one, iron sharpens iron. You know, they're the one who crafts your blade.
For sure. You gotta have world-class practice partners that push you, man. Now one thing I really miss about wrestling was the games that we play. You know, whether that be like handball or fucking dodgeball.
Oh hell yeah, bro.
Tug of war. You guys have any dope games that you played at Rutgers? Were you there?
That's funny because I actually don't play games. What? That's like one of my things that I'm getting into now. I took my career so seriously when I was wrestling, and I get so amped up that like they would play games being their practice, and I would be like, nah, I don't play games, man. I came here to
fight.
I'm here to fight. I'm here to wrestle, and it definitely like was a little social and weird, but it was just like what it was, and it's how I felt. And now that I'm a professional, I kind of relaxed a little bit more, and it's helped me. I think in that part of my career, I know I keep hatching back on this, but in that part of my career, it was like, that's not what I needed. I didn't need to play games. I needed to focus intensely. And now that I'm a little bit older, a little bit smarter, a little bit stronger, a little bit better, I'm able to sit back and play games, and it's better for my mental, you know?
Oh, for sure. Like, it goes back to the cool, calm, and collected thing. Like, guys that are kind of more relaxed and essentially having fun with it usually do better. I mean, like, if you look at Penn State, they fucking preach, oh, have fun, have fun, have fun. And they're right. Like there's a real theory to that, because if you're having fun, you're gonna be calmer, you're gonna make better decisions, and you're gonna be more intelligent when you're out there grappling.
You know what's funny about that is that one time I was talking to John, and he called me over and he said, "Hey, you know, we're just talking about wrestling." He's like, "Why do you think Penn State is so dominant in the wrestling world, and why do you think that they're just head and shoulders above everybody else?" And I kind of looked at him and I was like, man, it's the same reason why Renzo Gracie is better than everybody else. They have the best coach. They play. They have no egos. They're not scared to put themselves in positions. You know, I'll roll with Gordon, and he'll let me get a full armbar on him, and it's like that's how he's gonna learn how to get out of the position. Yeah. We don't care if we get tapped out in the room. We're there to make ourselves better. And starting those mount positions, starting in those bulldog positions, starting on single legs, it creates action, and that's how you learn. If we all stand on our feet, you know, we're not gonna learn the submissions as well. You know, we put ourselves in those positions with our teammates that we trust are not gonna break our arms, with the exception of every once in a while, huh? But
shit happens. I really did it to myself. I feel like anytime I've got hurt in there, I've always done it to myself. Like I should have tapped, you know,
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, and I was like, that's the same reason that Renzo Gracie's academy is the best in the world. It's the same reason why Penn State is, and without him even knowing. the two best grappling in the world, does the same thing. And if you go to Russia and Dagestan, they do the same exact thing. And so I think in any combat sport, the playing and the understanding of it is the most important part in putting yourself in those positions.
Very true, because you have to be able to think for yourself. Like it's one thing to take information and knowledge from a coach and, you know, obviously bring it to your standards and move the way you want to move with it, but to be able to make your own moves, move the way that your body feels, like you have to play with it. Essentially, it's very true, man. A lot of people don't get that, and it takes a little bit to adapt to that, I'm sure.
Correct. So the way I was taught is there's the 3 workout partners, right? There's someone who's better than you, there's someone who's the same as you, and there's someone who you're better than that you roll with, right? And this is one of the things that I picked up in wrestling, but a lot more in jiu-jitsu. So I would roll with Gordon, and I would learn so much because he'd put me in these positions, and he would expose me in certain positions, and then I'd roll with someone who I'm even with, and it would just be fun. You know, I might get 1 submission, he might get 1 submission, and then when I really, really wanted to learn, I would either step up or I would go back down, and I would start rolling with girls like Nat, like B, who don't have the same size strength as me, and that's where I would learn the most, because now I could put myself in these positions and not really feel extremely threatened, and just play and learn from that position. I mean, if I roll the wrong way against a guy like Nicky Rod, I'm going to break my arm. If I roll the wrong way against a girl, you know, I'll still have enough structure in my body to hold it. So now I could expose myself a little bit more to these new positions.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, because you know, it can really have strong benefits that you just rolling with lighter people. Like I mean, I gotta be honest, I really do the same thing. You know, you gotta have different practice partners. When I roll, it really is the same thing. Roll with Gord, you know, you gotta learn and take the ass whooping while it's there, and then you know, to fix your ego, you gotta fucking take it down a notch and get yourself somebody that's lesser than you, so you can really work on.
And that's one of the best parts at Renzo Gracie. So you have at Renzo's, we have the wall. That's where coach sits, right? And then there's a little subsection right in front of him where all the high level competitors are, right? It's like the Shark Tank, you know. You go into there and you know you're gonna fight every single go. And then a little bit more on the outskirts of the room, you have guys that compete sometimes, guys that are hobbyists, and you go grab them and you mix in between the two, or you just stay there in one area, in the high competitive area, or some days you come to the outside waters, and that's how you learn, man.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta get put in those bad positions constantly. Now it's kind of a little bit different when you're doing stand up, right? Because like, do you kind of take that same concept? Like, are you getting those 3 different practice partners as far as the hands go and treating it the same way, or is it a little bit more serious when you're on the feet and learning?
As far as grappling wise, there's not really one grappler in the world that could take me down. Like, I don't think so, if I was really trying. So for grappling, it's all play for me. And then with wrestling, obviously it's more serious. There's still guys out there that are better than me on the feet and stuff. So
yeah. I actually had the really dope opportunity to roll with RBY of Penn State, and it goes back to, you know, what you're saying about playing and being calm. It's like when I was rolling with him, it's very relaxed, very loose, and I did my best to mimic that. So like anytime he just had this sense, and it seems like all Penn State kids have
the aura.
The aura of just like playfulness, calmness, but explosivity at the same time. So it's a very interesting balance, because like they'll have a pace where they're just kind of keeping a steady pace of hand fighting, shots, and circling, and then like explode into a couple movements, and then go back to the pace. So it's very interesting to see that, because it seems like everybody from Penn State kind of has that same aura and that same pace.
So I think one of the most attractive energies, right, is kids playing. It's like, man, look at those kids having a good time. Like you could be driving down the street and you see kids smiling, having a good time. And you're like, man, I remember when I was a kid, right? And that's the period that you learn the most. So when you're our age and you're savages and animals, right? If you could have if you could bring yourself back to when you were a kid and those feelings and those emotions and those learning experiences, that's when you're going to learn the most. When it's playful, when it's fun, when you're experimenting, when the whole world, you don't know what's out there. You just know what the park is, and that's kind of how it is that we do at Renzo's, I feel like, and what we do, but what Penn State does when they train.
Yeah, like excessive positivity. Like it seems like everything is positive reinforcement, and I think that does retain to your memory a lot better than negativity. Like I wish that when I started wrestling, like people or coaches weren't like you're doing this wrong, you should do it this way.
A lot of wrestling coaches don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just work hard, do this, do that. It's like, nah, man. And sometimes I have to explain that to people, and even coaches, like when I come in to do seminars for wrestling, I'm like, man, you don't want to just push these kids as hard as they can. Okay, no matter what you did, you might be a state qualifier, you might be a coach that went Division 2, Division 3, right? But if you you have a world-class guy in your room, these kids shouldn't be working hard. They should just be learning the whole time, and what you should be doing is learning as well, so you could teach these kids the proper technique.
Yeah, like I wish that I did a lot more live in high school and college, because I feel like and by live I mean like the play wrestle live, because I feel like you learn the most when you're just like, this guy's going 20%, you're going 20%, both have the same goal of getting the takedown, staying on top, but if he gets in a shot at you, he's probably going to finish, but you're probably going to scramble out, so having a partner with the same concept and same mentality as that, dude, that I feel like that changes, that can change the pathway of your career, let alone having a whole room like that.
And the best part of that is it starts off 20%, right? And then you're scrambling, then the guys go, and then it gradually works to 30%, then it gradually works to 40%, then 50, then 60, then 70, then 80. Then by the end of practice, you're wrestling for an hour and a half. You're going live. And I think that's the best part. And I think that prevents a lot of injury, and it also gets your body ready, gets you excited, and it keeps you in the game for longer because you're gradually working your way up, and it's fun.
Yeah, that definitely fun. Like so many times you see guys have at that level have a smile on the face when they're grappling, and it might look like they're working hard. They are working crazy hard, burn tons of calories, but it's fun because they're learning and they're enjoying it. And it's something about, like, because it's kind of a puzzle to solve. It's a game to play. It's a game to win. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. It's like who can get to the back first, who can have the most dominant position. But I'm not like I feel like it's so easy to put anxiety, even in practice, if it's not competition.
And when you're playful, it gets rid of that anxiety, and you have to rely completely on your technique and completely on your creativity.
Yes. Like, so many people get emotional, even in practice, bro. I remember tons of times, like, I'd be rolling, and especially in college, I get snapped too hard, or too hard for me, and I'm like, fuck, we're fighting now. You know what I mean? So you guys have any fights in Rutgers? We had some fucking fights in Ferrum, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, so they actually, I used to punch dudes in the face, man.
So this motherfucker's talking about being commonplace fighting.
So when I left, they were like, all right, Richie's gone. We're going to make a new rule. You're not allowed to punch anybody in the face anymore.
Oh, man.
I mean, yeah, so when I would go with Donnie, who was one of my main workout partners, Donnie Pritzloff, third in the world, two-time NCAA champion, and one of my mentors, he taught me so much about wrestling and so much about life. And, man, I remember we would roll, and if we would roll hard, and he would take me down, and if I couldn't beat him, because, I mean, obviously he's a savage, so I would be able to take him to sometimes, but dude was legit and would beat my ass when I was first there. and once it started to get competitive, if I couldn't take him down, I would literally scream and go into the locker room and be so mad,
Dude, I completely understand the frustration. I had this one guy that, like, so, like, when I first started, I like, you know how you go to college, like, the summer of, before you commit?
Yep.
You go to, like, do their summer camp. So I did the summer camp, and this was like, I was like 185, just started lifting because it was the summer and stuff. And then Maybe I was like 195, and I go
200.
there. Yeah, you're probably right, 200. And I get my ass whooped by everybody. So I was like, okay, I see what this level's at, right? So, and by everybody, I mean the guys that wrestled the year prior and probably going to be starting that next year. So I continue to lift. I gained that's when I come back 225, gain an extra 20 pounds in a few months, and then go back there and I fucking laid on everybody, and these guys have fucking mental breakdown, bro.
It's crazy, and that's the difference between high school and college. And that experience that you had is the most common one. When you're a high school wrestler, the college pace is different. The college technique is different. You're wrestling the best guys in the country.
You're wrestling men.
Every single day.
Yep.
You know, so I remember my first year in college, I was getting big dubs when I'd go compete, but when I was in the room at a junior college, I'd beat Division I guys, and I was in the room at a junior college. I couldn't touch my coach's leg. There was dudes that were behind me that I couldn't take down just because they were sophomores and juniors, and I was like, man, what is going on? But once you get past that hump and once you get past that level, it's a lot easier to compete at that level.
Yeah, you got to keep pushing, and it's interesting. Like the first taste of that next level. Like what was the first time you wrestled somebody and you're like, oh shit, like I'm not that badass motherfucker. Like there's somebody else out there.
I would say going into my freshman year of college, I wrestled BJ, who was number 1 in the country at the time, all American as a freshman. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get him this time. You know, we hadn't wrestled in like 3 months, and he was always a little bit better than me, and he laid it on me. We just went in just to roll in the room, and I was just like, holy shit, I got a lot of stepping to do. I got a lot of catching up to do. You know, and I always knew that from a young age that I had a lot of catching up to do if I wanted to reach my goals. And over 7 years, I was able to make it happen.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. It's the ability to kind of keep going, keep pushing. You know, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have the mental capacity to kind of keep learning through that, because you know people all keep training, but they'll stop learning, and it's like knowledge is power, man. You really have to take in as much technique and put as much time in as possible.
I think that is something that has to do with destiny, man, and it's something that has to do with what you were born to do. Being weak is easy. You know,
it's so easy to be complacent, to say, oh, like, because not going to practice is fucking easy. Not training hard is it's easy, bro.
But it's hard for you.
Yeah.
To not go to practice, right?
Oh, it is hard.
And that's the fucking difference.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, complacent men are
I have a mental fucking collapse if I miss practice.
Yeah, but I feel like some of the most successful people I've ever met, bro, like across the board, they don't look at it as a loss, but it's like a learning opportunity. So like 100% is what you guys, you know.
Yeah, after you split your wrist, you can look back and fucking think about it. Think about how you can get better. Losing fucking sucks.
And I think you have to look at certain competitions to where it's a lesson, right? If you're going to compete at Submission Underground, it's fairly competitive.
Yeah.
But if you lose, it's a lesson. If you're at ADCC, you know, which is the Olympics of the sport, there's no lessons to be had.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you go to win, and that's when there's no excuses and there's nothing. So there's times that you really put it on the line, and those are the times that you can be best. For example, when Nicky had his coming out party at ADCC 2019, you've never seen a dude Jiu Jitsu like that before. You know, when everything was on the line, what was on your mind?
Getting that fucking money.
Win. Get the money,
bro.
Take care of your family.
Hell yeah, exactly.
And so there's times for lessons, and there's times where you just got to put your nose down and win.
Yeah, for sure. Some people gotta just get to it, man. I love it. ADCC was so much fun. I can't wait to the next one. It's gonna be in fucking Vegas. I don't know if you're gonna make it out there, but it's one of these
I'm like, yo, I need to get better for the trials. I'm actually. So I was gonna fight September, and I'm talking to my manager, and we're trying to find the first fight. I'm like, man, I just can't fight in November, man, because I have to go to these trials and I have to go compete jiu-jitsu. I've never competed at jiu-jitsu, and I've been rolling with the best guys in the world for 3 years, and just knowing how I do against them, specifically in the ADCC rule set.
Oh yeah, bro. You've been ADCC pretty much. You get to the back, you get boots in, you score, and then essentially you can stay away. There's no stalling calls. So you've been born and bred to do that. You know what I mean? You've been born to take down, get to the back, and fucking stay there.
Correct. And I just did a training camp, I'd say 3 months ago, with Henry Cejudo, Gordon.
Oh, Modolfo camp, right?
Hey,
Bro, that shit looked really cool, bro.
Yeah. So I got a chance, and this was the first time that I came back from my injury was this camp. So the first day back, I'm rolling with the Rotolo brothers, JT Torres and Mike Perez, and the fact that I put my hands on those dudes and felt them, much respect to them, but. And man, you motherfuckers gonna see when I compete, dog.
Bro, he's a fucking monster, dude.
He's an animal, dude.
JT's an animal.
I didn't really know him, so I really didn't like respect his wrestling, and called me slipping once. I got up, I was like, man, I was like, so he took me down. So actually, maybe there's one grappler that could take me down.
But he's got some of the
but
best
never
wrestling
again
in jiu-jitsu, man.
They'll take you down because you don't expect it. Like, like when they come up from a shot, like the guy's sitting in front of you and tries to take you down. Like if you expect it, he's probably not gonna get you. But like, it's kind of hard to tell when he's just sitting on his ass when he's gonna come up.
But I'm glad that I rolled with him, because now I'm like, okay, well now I know his one move, the drag. But it was in front of my idol, man, Henry Cejudo. I was like, did I really just get taken down? He was like, dude, I didn't think he could take you down. I was like, oh shit, dude.
Did you roll with Henry?
No, so it was like right before his fight.
Yeah.
And he just was coming back from some stem cell stuff. So I got to play with him and roll, but not really rolling. He's also a lot smaller than me.
Yeah. That's a Triple C, man. What a OG.
To go. Yeah. I'm trying to get with him and Captain America's and train, man.
Oh, why not, bro? That'd be sick camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way. That's a good connect too.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. Is figuring out what camp I'm going to go to in the next.
He's made a huge change. Like the past couple of years. I mean, especially with his striking, it's just a different fighter, man.
And I like their style, man. I mean, I'm Colombian. Those are Spanish dudes. They're bilingual. They know Brazilian. They know Spanish. They know English. And the style, how they run their camp, how it's very fact based and science based, and how they prep and how they focus on development is a lot in tune with what I do. So
yeah, that's good, man. How was it? So you got to roll with the Rotolos as well?
Yes.
How was that?
It was okay.
Another fucking savages. They're of the jiu-jitsu world. They're animals.
They are complete animals, and I respect them a lot. Yeah, we got into it a little bit.
Yeah,
they're young as fuck, bro.
Dude, they're 16.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
They're
gonna be that next generation, the best, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You have any upcoming wrestlers that are like 16, 17 that you could say this guy's probably gonna win an NCAA title?
Off the top of my head, not that I know, just because I'm focusing so much on my personal career that. Now I can't. I'm following jiu-jitsu. I'm following MMA. I follow the wrestling, and I used to be a huge nerd in the wrestling, but now I'm like kind of shifted my mindset to MMA and jiu-jitsu, so I could tell you more about that nowadays.
Do you plan on competing before the ADCC trials? Maybe like a grappling match or something?
Maybe if the time.
I bet
permits.
you could catch a pretty nice check.
Yeah, we'll see. I just signed a Paradigm, so if I just hit them up and want to set something up, I know Chael was interested in me competing in submission underground. So
that'd be your style, get the boy against the wall and probably day over.
Yeah. So I might look to do that. I'm gonna look to compete a lot more, but the number one focus the past 2 years was development and just getting my body healthy, man. Because I had a long career, a 16-year career of wrestling and grinding and catching up to all these dudes. So I had to put my body in some comparable positions, and the fact that I took a year off or 9 months showed a lot of reserve and taught me a lot about myself.
So do you what's your goal as far as fighting? Like
UFC world champion. That's
UFC world champion,
multiple weight class. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fucking.
That's my only goal since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Of course I wanted to be an Olympic champion, but I think it was more me saying I want to be an Olympic champion. I think I wanted to be an NCAA champion, but it was more me saying I want to be an NCAA champion. Winning the U23 World Championships was kind of like the icing on my career for wrestling. I wasn't checked out, but I was kind of like, okay, I proved that if I continue down this path, I could possibly be an Olympic champion if I keep working at this pace. But the fruits of the labor were not nearly as good as MMA and jiu-jitsu, and I don't think I would have been nearly as happy. So it was more of me saying these things and kind of believing them. With the MMA, I know them for fact. Becoming a world champion has already happened, just not yet.
Yeah. I mean, the first step to doing anything like that is you have to envision it. Like you have to see what's going to happen before it happens. It's so true, man. People really underestimate undervalue visualization of their future.
Visualization and this may sound a little odd to some of you, but I'm a pretty trippy guy, so I've seen a lot of the world, and say the least. I look at time like this, right?
You like talking about shroom trippy?
Shroom,
like,
DMT,
yeah,
stuff like that.
So
Yes, the DMT actually changed my life.
I hear a lot of people say that like they'll see and they'll appreciate everything and really kind of see things for what they are after they do a little bit of DMT.
Man, so I was like socially fucking inept, like didn't know what to do when I was a kid. I was wild, man. And after I tried that, it really showed me compassion. It really showed me what this world is and how to care for people. It showed me to be closer to the higher power and stuff like that. I was actually planning on talking about this on the Joe Rogan podcast one day, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. But yeah.
I'm sure we'd like to hear it twice. Maybe I'll see you on there, bro. Yeah.
So I look at time like this. Everything's happening all at once, and everything that is going to happen has already happened. But we've been blessed to put ourselves on this world and in this reality on this earth to view time linearly, right? So I think that I already am a world champion, UFC world champion. You know, I'm just not there yet. You know, it just hasn't happened yet.
Maybe it has happened just way before.
Like, bro,
before you're born, you feel me?
Facts. That's the destiny shit. That's why I got more Fati tattooed on me, the love of fate.
What's that mean?
It means the love of fate.
Love of fate.
This is a Stoic ideal and the acceptance of one's destiny.
Okay.
No matter what it is.
So how do you feel about thinking of time as a cyclical pattern?
Explain.
Okay, so the idea that time is like start to finish is kind of brought in by religion all the way back in the day. Whereas like a lot of philosophy will teach you that it's much more of a circle. So basically we're saying, bro, everything has already happened, you know, and like
So you think it happens multiple times?
Yeah. Well, I think it's literally just a cycle, you know, everything is a cycle. So time is kind of the same thing.
I think there's only so many diversification of genes. So like you can only have so many different people. It's probably bound to have another one of you.
I agree, and I like that concept. I don't know if I believe. I mean, I believe in reincarnation, but I don't believe that I'm me, Richie Lewis, Richie Savage, Wrestle That Records, Wrestle Central, Team USA, gonna be a fighter, is gonna happen again. But I do believe that every single person that you encounter lives similar lives as far as what they experience. I think that, you know, we're a higher consciousness that put ourselves here to experience this earth, and once we have enough knowledge, we're allowed to assimilate back up to what some people call heaven, some people call paradise, some people call, you know, the fourth dimension. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. You know?
What if your body, right, like your physique wasn't duplicated, but your soul, your mind, you know, your intellect kind of traveled on and restarted.
I think that it does. I think that when we pass on this earth, I can't tell you for certain where we'll be. I don't know if we'll be back here again. But I think until you complete your cycle of knowledge and your cycle of hiring your consciousness, and you're gonna keep coming back to this world, another world, until you have that ultimate knowledge and that ultimate understanding to where you can assimilate back up.
This could just be a level. Like maybe once you succeed, you go on to the Earth 2.
There's levels. There's levels. You know there's levels to this shit, dog.
Straight up, you don't know. We don't know.
So I like to live my life on that ideal.
Yeah. I think that's good, mate, because it kind of gives you something to look forward to. You know, people kind of get stuck on the idea of like this is their only shot. Maybe not though.
You should live it like it is.
You should live it like it is.
For sure. I think that's what we want.
GTA style. Yeah.
No cheat codes, bro.
No cheat codes. You a video game guy?
I grew up with GameCube, and then once Xbox, PlayStation started coming out, I didn't really play, but I just started again. I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch. I practiced Fortnite for like a month, and I was like, watch all the YouTube videos, practice all the shooting ranges. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get good at this, dog. So yeah, so now I love it. Like I said, I didn't play games for a long time because I'm like, nah, I don't play games. I train, I focus, I'm here, you know, and yeah, I just started playing games again, and I fucking love it, man.
It's so easy to put that mentality towards anything. Like I remember, like I wouldn't watch like sad movies because I was like, I don't want this negativity in my life. Like, you know?
Thanks, yo.
Oh man, it definitely pertains to everything. It's so funny, but yes, the way you gotta live your life of champions. Yeah, how we doing on time?
At hour 30, bro.
Dude,
this is the longest one.
Hour 30. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
That was fantastic.
Yo, is there anything you want to plug, dude? Any coaches you want to plug? Any academies, anything like that?
FullDimensionNutrition.com.
Sweet.
That's my nutrition company. AperFitness.com. That's my clothing company. Currently, I mean, I'm a designer and I love fashion at heart. If I wasn't
That means we gotta get you some Nicky Rod merch.
You can't have blonde hair without not being a designer. So let's go, Richie Savage.
Yeah, I'm wild. I'm gonna do the hand test, neck test, everything, bro. I'm gonna be wild, boy. So
Hell yeah.
So I hopefully I got a deal coming through with the clothing company where they're gonna give me creative control, and I'm gonna be able to release some dope products. Right now, I kind of been doing it with my business partner, Gerasimos Galasaros. He's my media guy as well. I've been doing it with him through Hyper Fitness, but I think we're gonna scale up and hopefully I get this contract signed and start really moving work, jerseys and stuff like that. And I'm very big on exclusive items, you know, and like me designing them. What?
Like one-time drops, bro.
Like one-time drops, yeah. Exactly. I was looking for a shirt. I was gonna give it to you. I'm gonna get you one, but I didn't have any on hand.
And the 2 X's.
Yeah, 3 eggs, and I completely designed it, and the people loved it, man. So what I'm doing right now is creating different jerseys, and they're gonna be numbered. So this one was 00. I decided I was gonna do it as a sample, and then I posted it up online, and people loved it. I ended up selling over 150 units.
Oh wow!
So I was like, man, yeah, I'm gonna drop these. So.
Yeah, that's you gotta let loose. What's your Instagram?
Richie_Savage.
Richie_Savage. Yo, we I hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Fucking I've been wanting to have you on. I'm happy you got on here. This thing's gonna be around for a long time. I don't know. Maybe this podcast goes to shit, or maybe we get 1 million views in a couple of months.
Oh, dude, Nicky Rod's like, oh, dude, we're gonna do a podcast. I'm like, all right, cool. You gonna put on your gram, dog? Get me the clout.
Yeah, get you that.
Because I need some of that. I need some of that clout you got, Nicky Rod.
I'll hook you up, bro. That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much.
I hope you guys enjoyed, man. We'll catch you guys next time on Nicky Rod All Access.
Peace. I thought the mic went out. I was going to talk about the clothes. Because I think this...
I walk with my coat. Rap game got me up. Gotta go double it up. Everyone dab me up. I went hard as fuck. They thought it was love. I just trust my gut. Shorty hit me, I'm like, what?